What's going on, Jerome's? So, yes, we talked about Kirk Cousins and his free agency and his potential contract coming up because it's kind of important. It's kind of a big deal who your quarterback is going to be, as well as the direction of the team. If Kirk is back on a multi-year deal, you could see them passing on a quarterback this year. If he's back on a one-year deal, maybe even two, you could still see them making quarterback the future priority in the draft. And he gone. All the gloves are off, and we'll see what happens, man. But Kirk Cousins, even though, yes, know him, love him, hate him, whatever, like Kirk has played well over the last 2 years in the Vikings offense with Kevin O'Connell. There's 8th in points, 7th in yards in 2022. And Kirk, I mean, despite the 0-3, 1-4 start, wasn't necessarily on him. Probably played his best 2 games in a Vikings uniform against the Niners as well as the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers 1.0 before he popped his Achilles. And like we said, if they want to run it back with Kirk, I'm okay with it up to a certain point and up to a certain number of years, but we'll get into that. Now, just clearing up a misnomer. So, yes, Kirk Cousins on March 13th, almost the Ides of March, but on March 13th, the first day of the new league year, his contract does indeed void, and that would leave $28.5 million dead on the Vikings cap for 2024. Now, that's already baked into the cake in terms of the Vikings having around $30 million in cap space. Daniil, Davenport, as well as Kirk Cousins contracts all void on March 13th, and absent a new deal, all the void year dead cap hits will come home to roost. As of right now, they're still prorated over the next 4 years. Also, additional point. So Kirk Cousins has a $28.5 million dead cap charge. That does not mean that he's getting $28.5 million from the Vikings this year. That's simply for accounting purposes. Kirk's already got all of his money from the Vikings from his current contracts. So this isn't like the Russell Wilson situation where the Broncos, if and when they do cut him, they owe him $37 million either way, and he can sign for the league minimum somewhere else. So this is not that. So, yeah, for the 28.5 is purely for cap charge accounting purposes. Kirk is not due any more money from the Vikings as of right now for educational purposes only. I feel like that bill sitting on the stairs of Capitol Hill, I'm just a girl, something like that. Yeah, with Kirk and Kwesi, we'll see what happens there. I think that it's a spot where the Vikings are comfortable with him hitting free agency and seeing what the market is, but just clearing up a misnomer here. So a lot of people seem to think that once the contract voids, that's it. Like Kirk ain't coming back because the Vikings have $28.5 million dead, and if they have to pay him, that'd be like 60, 70, 80 million dead, and that's all she wrote. But it's actually not true. Yes, I mean, if the Vikings do extend Kirk before the start before his contract voids on March 13th, it stays the current 4-year proration of 10.25 million dead, 10.25 then 4.4, right? But if it does void, you have 28.5 coming home to roost, whether he's on the Vikings, whether he's not, whether he signs a new deal, whether whatever. But the Vikings and of course Rob Brzezinski. There's always ways to fudge the salary cap, and it's not so much the dollars that are paid out, but in terms of taking cap hits, you have to account for every single dollar that is paid at some point. Now, sometimes it makes sense to front load a deal to take your medicine right away, or spread things out. If you're clearing up some veteran contracts like the Vikings have over the last couple of years, that's why adding void years with Cousins and Daniil, it's no harm, no foul. With the cap going up and up and up, and also a bunch of veteran contracts off of the books, even though you do have to pay JJ, Darisaw, Hawkinson. Hawkinson's already been paid, but you know what I mean. But there are ways to simulate the cap hits for Kirk in the void years in the structure of the new deal. Now, this is just a complete bare bones, back of the envelope, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, ease of math look. So say Kirk doesn't get that multi-year, fully guaranteed deal out there in free agency, which we just talked about. I don't know if he's going to get it. The leverage could be in the Vikings' court again. Obviously, they would prefer a short-term deal with Kirk just in case the wheels do fall off as he gets a little bit older. But we'll say for ease of math, a 1-year, $41.21 million deal fully guaranteed with a $40 million signing bonus. Now, why are these numbers important? So 1.21 is the league minimum for 2024 for a 10-plus year veteran. So he's got that going on for him, which is nice. And we did that just for ease of math. And the $40 million signing bonus would allow the Vikings to prorate his deal out $8 million, $8 million, $8 million, $8 million, $8 million. So in a way, it would simulate the the structure of the current void years over the next 4 years, and the Vikings can dissipate some of those cap hits. So instead of 28.5 dead, if Kirk did leave, it only goes up 9.21 million, and the Vikings still have around 20 million in cap space, and that could also free up more cap space by restructuring O'Neal or extending JJ and all that stuff. Either way, this is the simplest bare bones way to get around the 28.5 million dead if his contract does indeed void. Also, the Vikings could work out a deal with additional void years as well, but that's going down the rabbit hole. I truly do trust Brzezinski and Kwesi in this regard. Like, if Kirk is back, they're going to make it work with the cap, and also, if Kirk Cousins is back, they got to be all in. So that in terms of bringing in free agents, in terms of shoving all of your chips in the middle and really going for the Super Bowl in the next year or two, depending on how many seasons you bring back Kirk Cousins, it's imperative. And if the Vikings were saddled with like a $70 million, $80 million cap charge if Kirk came back after his contract voided, I mean, what would be the point? No, it ain't going to happen that way. So, the whole notion of, hey, once Kirk's contract voids on March 13th, he can't come back, that's just incorrect. There's always ways around it, and of course, Kirk always gets paid. That's the one internal truth in life. Kirk just always gets his money. So there you go. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings can still sign Kirk Cousins if and when his contract does void after March 13th and he tests out open free agency. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol production value.